How's it going, guys? Cameron here with Canadian Gamer. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Valentine's Day weekend. I got a few things I want to talk about here. The first thing we'll talk about, I don't want to spend too much time on it because I know a lot of people on my channel don't follow this topic or this subject. Talking about pro wrestling, WWE, or I guess back in the day we would call it the WWF. I've been watching a lot of old video lately, a lot of old wrestling matches, interviews, things of that nature. Although I don't watch any modern WWE, trust me, I can't stand it. I used to be like a religious follower of WWF. I watched it from like 88, 89, like right up until like 2003. And then it just sort of tapered off from there with the new generation. Well, watching, some videos on the older wrestler, Lex Luger. I don't know if you guys remember him. He was pretty big. He came out of, I guess, he was trying to be a bodybuilder before he was a pro wrestler. And he was a pro football player as well. And I remember he debuted in WCW around 89, 90. And then eventually Vince McMahon, he had I think it was called the WBF, the World Bodybuilding Federation. It was a spin-off of the WWF, and Lex Luger was in the WBF. And I think the WBF folded, and Vince ended up bringing Lex on into the WWF at the time, WWE, and the rest was history. Around, I don't want to get too far into it, but around 92, 93, Vince was pushing Lex really hard. He wanted Lex to be the next big thing. It didn't really pan out. I think there was a match at Madison Square Garden where Lex was squared off against Bret the Hitman Hart, who's obviously a Canadian national treasure. And I think even though Bret's Canadian, Bret ended up getting a bigger pop from the crowd than Lex on that evening. So, yeah, I think they ended up going a different direction. Bret became champion. And Lex missed his opportunity there, but there's so many great things you could say about Lex Luger, but there's so many, I guess, bad things you could say about the guy as well. So I mean, I guess the thing I wanted to bring up was, like, do you think, any of you guys out there watching, do you think Lex Luger should be in the WWE Hall of Fame? I think he should be. Again, there's just so many things that he did for the sport back in the 90s. He was a physical specimen. Let's just get that out of the way right there. Who could forget the Lex Express when he went on tour on a bus throughout the United States? That was just, back in the day, that was pretty impressive. Everybody wanted to take a ride on the Lex Express. And there was also that time where he body slammed Yokozuna on Pearl Harbor. There was also the 1994 Royal Rumble where the last two guys in the Rumble ended up being Bret Hart and Lex Luger. And who could forget the ending to that match? And it was, Bret has gone on record to even state, he gave all credit to Lex for this. The two men, Lex and Bret, went out of the ring together. They both went over the top rope, and they landed on the ground together at the exact same time. So the way the Royal Rumble is whoever's feet touch the ground first is the one who's eliminated first. So they did this thing. Again, you have to go on YouTube and watch it, but they both went over the rope at the exact same time, and they both were holding each other, and they both landed at the same time. It's pretty crazy. So yeah, there's a lot of questionable things with regards to Lex Luger as well that sort of tarnish his legacy. The biggest thing is obviously in and around, I think it was 2003, Lex was dating Miss Elizabeth at the time. I don't know if Lex stole her from Macho Man or if she broke up with Macho Man first. I don't know the story behind that, but a lot of people are quick to point fingers and blame Lex Luger for the death of Miss Elizabeth, but based on his own accord, it sounds more like Lex was out for the day and he came home that night and Elizabeth had been drinking, and Lex was heating food up in the microwave, and then he brought the food out to her. She was on the couch, and they were watching TV, and she passed out, and he called 911. And it turns out she had drugs in her system combined obviously with the alcohol, so it was an accidental overdose. So who really knows, but that's the way he describes it. Who knows if he was taking narcotics as well or drugs at the same time. I'd have to read his book, I guess, to understand the full story. But yeah, obviously tragic, and he somehow overcame that. I know he did go to prison at one point for drug charges as well in the early 2000s, and then he overcame that. He sort of, I guess, he's a born again Christian, or he's found God, and whatever. I'm not religious, but if that's what it takes for him to turn his life around, good for him. He had a spinal cord injury in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, and he's lost all his muscle mass, so he's no longer the physical specimen that we once knew. But that doesn't take away his accomplishments in the ring. And if you watch some of his most recent interviews on YouTube, he's a well-spoken individual. He sounds like a very nice person. I wouldn't mind sitting down and having a conversation with him. Apparently he's living in Buffalo, New York now, and he's living a quiet life. He's a WWE ambassador now as well, so apparently he works for the company. I'm not quite sure what he does. He probably has some input on some of the intellectual properties like WWE, 2017 as an example, the video game. So good for him. He's not in the Hall of Fame. I'm not quite sure as to why. I don't know if it has to do with his past regressions. But if there was ever a guy that should be in the Hall of Fame, I think it should be Lex Luger. I think he's done enough, or he did enough during his 15 years. If we could just sort of, leave out obviously what happened in his personal life and just look at what he did in the ring. Was he the most gifted wrestler of all time? No. A lot of the wrestlers said he was very stiff in the ring. Make no mistake, he was really a bodybuilder that was thrusted into that role, and he didn't have any experience wrestling when he jumped into it. But he did good, working off of his natural, gifted physique that he had. I don't know how natural it was. Obviously, he's probably on some steroids, but yeah, he was pretty good on the mic. I thought he had pretty good mic skills. But yeah, he was in wrestling for 15 years, and I think it's long overdue. I think he should be in the Wrestling Hall of Fame. All right, so we'll leave it at that. The next thing I want to talk about, a YouTube channel came up on my recommendations tonight, and it was a woman or a girl by the name of Cannot Be Tamed. So I checked it out, and she's not bad looking. But no, she's got some decent content, or at least it seems like it. I haven't really gone through all of it. I was watching a couple of her videos, and she talks about a lot of retro games as well. And I'm going through the comment section on one of her videos. It might have even been her most recent video. And who pops up in the comment section? Fucking Chris, CGQ, Classic Gaming Quarterly. So I'm like, oh man, I forgot all about this guy. So yeah, of course he's in her comment section, that greasy little pervert of a man. So I go over to his channel, and he hasn't put out a video in forever. He's only put out about 7 videos in the last 11 or 12 months. Absolutely ridiculous. It's one thing to have a Patreon if you're putting out consistent videos, but like, fuck, you're putting out 6 to 7 videos a year. Why even bother at that point? Like, seriously? I didn't check out his other channel, CGQ Plus, but I don't know, that guy drives me nuts. It's too much. It's absolutely ridiculous. So I guess the last thing I want to talk about, John Hancock, he put out a video today, and he was doing his rankings videos, and he was talking about the ballistic games that were released on the Sega Genesis. And of course, in Hancock fashion, it's a sloppy ass video. And look, my production values are probably no better, or if they are better, they're not much better than Hancock's. But That guy, I guess we'll call him the king of jump cuts because he has about 100 jump cuts in his videos. This video that he put out today, you can go back and watch it. But it gets to right about when he starts talking about Star Control, the game Star Control for the Genesis. And you gotta see, you gotta go back and watch it. So a lot of times with the jump cut, you use that when you forget what it is you want to talk about or you need to recompose yourself. Or maybe you say something and it just comes out of your mouth wrong and you want to do a retake. So Hancock, right around where he starts talking about Star Control, he puts in a jump cut. But like when the jump cut kicks in, he just sort of repeats what he just said in the previous cut. So it's like he did a jump cut, but he didn't go back and edit the previous video to remove what it was that he did a retake on. So he did that about like 3 or 4 times where he like says something and then boom, there's a jump cut and then he says the same thing again. Like you know, I don't understand the guy. It would be one thing if you had a channel like mine where you only have like 500 and some odd subscribers. Like, it's not really a big deal, right? Like, I posted a video last night talking about my Genesis collection, and I think even I flubbed a jump cut on that video. But for this guy to have 100,000 subscribers, you think you would put a little bit extra TLC in your videos and watch them before you post them. Like, this was clearly a rushed video that he needed to get out for Sunday. And it's just, oh my God. It's like, dude, this video is going to be on your channel forever, I presume. Why not take a few extra minutes to watch what it is that you edited before you post it and re-edit it again if need be. So at some point throughout the video, I think the latter half of the video, he starts talking about cardboard box variations for the Sega Genesis. Like, oh my God. And he's talking about how there's different, cardboard variations for certain games, and some games have the clamshell case and some have the cardboard case and blah, 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 blah. Well, if you go over to his Twitter, because I saw this the other day before he posted today's video, he posted this on Twitter. Next Genesis video is going to be fun, and he shows a bunch of cases. But what's interesting in the comment section is there's a guy by the name of the Dork's Delight, and he says, "Do you not already have a complete set?" And then he says, "Keep up the great content." And Hancock replies, "Complete set as it would be defined by many, yes, but I'm still pursuing some box variations." So as you can see, it never ends with this guy. He's stealthy begging right there, and on his video as well. Like, you're an addict when you're trying to hunt down cardboard box variations for the same game. Like, it never fucking ends with this guy, I swear to God. This guy, I've said it before and I'll say it again, this guy is a vicious video game addict. So yeah, look out for that video. Apparently he's posting a video maybe this week or the week after showcasing box variations. So I think I'm going to cut it off there. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Let me know your thoughts on Lex Luger. I'd love to hear your comments below. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a good night.